If you're a business owner and all of your friends are already married or in relationships, and you also have a great life, but the last missing piece of the puzzle is a relationship to the right woman, somebody that you can settle down with, build a future with, somebody who's really healthy and who really enjoys you, this video is for you. Most likely you've done a lot of things right in your life. The business, the freedom, the lifestyle. But when you come home, a podcast maybe, take out dinner alone, and nobody there to fall asleep with, nobody there to cook with, nobody there to watch a movie with. And there's a little voice inside of you telling you that, is this really it? This can't be it. My name is David Meessen, and over the last 5 years alone, I've helped hundreds of men find the right girlfriend or wife. And I want to give you some very practical steps that you can follow if you want to find such a quality relationship for the long term. First of all, we have to acknowledge the situation that you're in, which is you've probably tried a couple of things, like online dating. You're not getting the matches that you want, or the conversations fizzle out, or when it comes to meeting people in person, you're too old to go out by yourself to bars, at clubs every weekend. You're not really doing that anymore. So you have very little opportunity to actually meet somebody. So where can you meet women? The right types of women. You could meet them on dating apps, for example. You could meet them on Instagram. You could meet them in everyday situations. And then there's a fourth category, which is social circle. But social circle is really in brackets because it's not scalable. And I'm sure you've had this where somebody wants to introduce you to his or her friend Mary. And while Mary may be a lovely person, she probably isn't necessarily who you're looking for. So the only 3 channels you actually have available to yourself is dating apps, Instagram, and in-person approaches. That's it. I might say, but shouldn't I just wait? Surely if I just wait, the right one will come. That's why you're divorced. That's why you've gone through this painful past relationship that ended maybe harshly and, that took you a while to recover from. Because you didn't choose her from abundance and because you weren't proactive about it. If you had been more proactive about it and you would have had more quality options to choose her from, then you would have hired the right candidates. I'm sure you've hired people in your career, and if you do that, then you rarely go with the first candidate. I'm sure you've had some mishires, me too. And why was that? Well, oftentimes you didn't screen properly, you didn't qualify properly, and you probably should have interviewed a few more people. Yeah, but like, this candidate, I really like him or her. I think they're going to be great. Interview 10 more people, interview 20 more people, and you will be surprised. Most men, as you've realized in business, grossly underestimate the volume that it takes to achieve anything substantial. Most men completely underestimate the amount of dates they have to go on to choose the right girlfriend or wife from. You think that number 4 or 5 will be your wife? She may be. I've had clients who met their wife after 3 weeks, but I communicate that very clearly. That is an outlier. It may be 20 dates, it may be 50 dates, it may be 3 dates, it may be 1 date. Nobody knows, but you have to be willing to go on a lot more dates. Oh, what a horrendous process that is. There's people who are dying in war, and you are not willing to go on a couple of dates and sit in the presence of a beautiful woman and then evaluate your compatibility regarding your personality and your values. If you're not willing to dedicate 5 to 10 hours a week to this, to go on dates for 3 to 6 months, 9 months, 4, 7, 3, 2, then you deserve to lose. Then you deserve to stay single. Then you deserve to keep jerking yourself to sleep. Now, another good thing is there's a lot more tools available to men like yourself, to all of us, than ever existed in human history. Your great-great-grandfather would have done a lot of things to have the tools that you have. You can whip out your phone, touch your phone in a certain algorithmic manner, and a woman appears out of nothingness who wants to get to know you. It's called online dating. Think about that. You can go to the App Store, download an application, put some pictures on there, quality pictures, write a little bit about yourself. Keep touching your phone, boom, you get a date. It's magic. And you are too lazy to put it into practice? Level up. Level up, my friend. That's only one of the channels. Then you have Instagram. Instagram is the #1 dating marketing machine in the world, if you will. Yes, Hinge, Bumble, Raya, official dating apps, they're fantastic. But Instagram is amazing in and of itself. You can just direct message anybody in the world. I've done this. I've messaged people with millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, I do also have a lot of followers myself, and I get responses. It's crazy. But I did the direct messaging strategy 6 years ago when I only had 400 followers on Instagram and not 1 million, and it works. You can direct message women. Now, the quality of the responses, or rather the probability that she'll respond, the conversion rates, if you will, they depend on a couple of factors. The strength of your profile, the quality of your text. That does matter. Now, the right woman doesn't care too much about followers. Everybody's impressed by it to a certain extent, of course, but the right woman just doesn't value those weird status indicators too much. She just doesn't. She's interested in inner values, believe it or not. Now, again, everybody likes followers. Everybody likes status. Everybody responds to it. But the right one, it's just not a primary evaluation criteria for her when it comes to the selection of a long-term partner. You can just direct message women. Think about that. That didn't exist 50 years ago. You couldn't just, 200 years ago, you'd have to travel by horseback to the next village. And then maybe if you're lucky, you'll meet the love of your life. And then if that doesn't work out, because neighbor Steven makes love to her first, well, then you're screwed for another 3.5 years. Now, there is an unfathomable level of abundance. If you're a man and you live in the US, for example, there are 300 million people. Half of them are women. 150 million women. 10% in your age group alone. 15 million women. And you can't find one you're compatible with? You're lazy. And it's not just that you're lazy, because in some areas of your business or your career or your health, you're evidently not lazy. What is it here? Well, nobody's kicked you in the ass and told you to level up, but it is also that you have certain beliefs. You have limiting beliefs. Do dating apps even work? I've tried it in the past and it didn't. If you use a rear view mirror in the car to guide you, you're gonna crash. The past only equals the future if you live there, my friend. You've tried it in the past. If you're a dentist, for example, and somebody comes to you and says, I've tried taking care of my teeth and it didn't work. Did you floss every day? No, I didn't. But then you didn't do it properly. There are how-tos. I tried losing weight in the past and it didn't work. You have not understood nutrition. You think weight loss has something to do with exercise. It has virtually nothing to do with exercise. Just calorie balance. Now, nutrition means how can I maximize my calories in a way that I feel almost any hunger at all. Yes, a little bit is going to be there, but very little, as opposed to just suffering through with discipline and then having it negatively impact your performance. That's just an example. Imagine somebody comes to you in your profession, finance, medicine, business, whatever happens to be, and they say, I've tried it before. Yeah, you didn't do it right. You got to do the right things, and then it works. 50% of my clients, more than that, find a girlfriend or wife through dating apps or Instagram. But let's talk about my favorite channel, which is in-person interactions. Crazy concept, right? There's a woman that you see in an everyday scenario or in a bar. Don't go to clubs. You can if you want to for fun, but you're not going to meet your wife in a nightclub because 80% of the people you're going to meet in a club, they won't be right for you. But if you see somebody in a Starbucks, in a gym, in an everyday situation, do you not want to go and introduce yourself? Yeah, but I don't have the time. Nonsense. Whatever reason you think is valid as to why you're not introducing yourself, it's BS. There are only 2 reasons as to why you wouldn't approach in person. One, the biggest one is approach anxiety, fear of rejection. You're worried about what other people think, and you haven't overcome your approach anxiety. That's it. We've talked about progressive desensitization at length in other videos. And then there's the skills that you just don't know how. Hey, nice to meet you. Do you come here often? What's your job? Boring. You bore her. You forget that you have to assume the burden of the conversation for the first 5 to 7 minutes. Then once she starts investing, after you've opened up different conversational hook points, different subjects that she can then hopefully relate to, you then have a ping pong. I don't believe you can call yourself a real man if you can't even introduce yourself in person. Yeah, I could if I really wanted to. If you're not doing it, you can't. It's could versus would. I could be rich, but I'm not. Imagine, look, if you're somebody who has money and somebody comes to you and says, I could have money, I just don't want to, bullshit. Or you know those people who say, you can ask me anything except for money? Broke! Now, if you're somebody who doesn't have that much money yet, doesn't matter. Let me relate it to you in a different way. If you're good in sports, for example. Well, I could learn. I could be a good fighter if I want to. Yeah, but you're not, so you can't. It's could versus would. Are you going to dedicate yourself to this project for 4 to 7% of your waking time, 5 to 10 hours a week, for 3 to 6 to 7 to 4 months, to then make the most important decision of your life, which is the right girlfriend or wife? There's people like Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett who will tell you that the most important relationship you'll ever have in your life, the most important decision you'll ever make in life, is who you choose to have by your side, who will support you. It can ruin your business. It can ruin your career. It can ruin your happiness. I was married to a woman who wasn't right for me before I met Fernanda, my fiance, who I've been with now for 5 years, who's an angel. I was suffering a lot. Now, if you have somebody by your side who can support you, it bestows a new sense of purpose on you because you're not just doing it for yourself. You want to support her, you want to provide, you want to protect, you want to have experiences, maybe you want to build a family. That makes you feel alive. You have that kind, nurturing energy. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you get is love. The last thing you get at night is love. That's support. You're so close to it. You're so close. Let go of these nonsensical excuses. If any other man can do it, you can do it as well. Any reason as to why you shouldn't is just an excuse, my friend. And understand it will take some work. But it's not that big a deal. The work you put into your career or your business far exceeds the work that will be required to choose the right girlfriend or wife. But trust me, it's a really rewarding journey. And let me tell you one other thing. You're not supposed to get it easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Now, it can be easy if you do the right strategies. We have clients who end up in relationships all the time and who have happy dates. I heard from a client today who's in a wheelchair who had a successful date. Let me read the message to you real quick. This will be very inspiring to you because whatever excuse you think you have shall be gone. Let me read this to you. Well, boys, chalk one up for the dude in the wheelchair. Cooked her dinner, then put on a movie and didn't make it past the opening monologue before we were practicing making babies. In a wheelchair! What is your excuse? I'm too tall, I'm too ginger, my vampire teeth. He's in a wheelchair. If he can do it, you can do it as well. And again, you're supposed to go through a process of going on dates and working on your communication skills. There's only 2 things: getting more quality dates and improving your communication skills and ridding yourself of the blind spots that cause women to lose interest in you. That is all it takes. It's a super rewarding journey. Your grandparents, they worked in mines. My grandparents worked in, I don't know what kind of mines, gold mines, dirty mines. They did really hard things. And you have to complain that you have to go on dates? Oh, dating is so frustrating. What a privileged attitude is that? It's an amazing, rewarding journey. You get to go on dates. You get to go on X amount of dates. And remember, it's limited. You can solve for X, whether it's 3 or 50. I don't know, but it won't be 200. If you do it well, it doesn't have to be hundreds of dates. It's an enjoyable process. What else are you going to do? Stay single for the next 7 years? Wake up in 10 years? Realize you've missed out on the greatest source of happiness? It is so easy if you're willing for it to be hard. If you're willing for it to suck a little bit, then it can actually be really easy. If you want me to help you with that personally, if you're a man who's doing well, be that in your career, your business, you're an achiever, then apply for a free initial consultation call, and I'd be honored to speak with you. Talk soon.